Hey everyone, I'm starting to think my computer's possessed about this rant because it just didn't record like 3 times. I kind of want to talk to you about the people who say they can talk to the dead. You know, John Edwards and that ilk. They kind of piss me off for a very simple reason. And the reason is basically this. They are claiming something that is essentially impossible. And they're claiming it in a way that I could easily prove no, they're not. Not to mention they're playing on the emotions of people who are essentially in mourning and stuff like that. And it's just one of those things that pisses me off to no end, essentially. If you hear any rustling, I'm just doing some sorting of some kind, don't worry. Here's what I mean. They're basically saying we can talk to your loved ones, let you know that they're doing okay in the afterlife. Well, that's very sweet, but you can't even prove there's an afterlife. How the hell are you going to talk to someone? And a lot of their techniques are called cold reading, where they're essentially guessing. That's really is all they're doing is they're guessing, does this person's name begin with an A, B, C, D? Family Guy did a good visual gag on it where that's literally what he was doing, and it is literally what they do. Like, they just guess, and they throw out like 20,000 guesses until they finally get it right. And when they get it right, they consider it a hit, and people psychologically forget the misses and they will remember the hits. They will remember, oh yeah, he knew my grandmother's nickname for me or something, even though they essentially told him. And it's like they are playing with the human psychology of the whole thing rather than actually attempting to help the person or comfort the person. And it gives them a false comfort, like, oh, Granny's okay or something like that, when they don't know. They still don't know, because the only way to find out for certain at this point in time that there's an afterlife or not is to die, unfortunately. And you can't really answer someone back when you're dead, since as far as we know, the one thing we do know about death is that your body doesn't work anymore. Your brain is gone, essentially, and you're just something rotting in the ground. That's like the one guarantee of death, and people tend to, I'm not going to say forget, I think it's more of conveniently not think about, because, we all know what happens when, we die. The one thing we do know completely, and the reason I'm being so general despite, my religious status essentially, is, because this plays on both religious and atheistic people. More religious because they have a stronger belief in the afterlife. And, just because they have that belief, I really don't think they should be suckered like that. And that's really what it is a sucker con game. And a particularly nasty one at that. I mean, I'm probably one of the few people that even if I was religious, I wouldn't be fooled by it, because I know my family well enough that the pretty little platitudes that they give you during the whole thing, I look at them and go, that isn't that person, because they wouldn't say something like that. They would be doing something completely different and completely more raunchy, rude, and insane. And I know this because I know my family. Of course, your mileage may vary. Maybe this is how your granny talked. In that case, you're a little screwed. But you get the idea. And that really is my main issue, is that, these people are playing on the emotions of somebody who's probably grieving still. I mean, why else would they come and try to talk to, great grandma whoever and try to see them again? Is they're grieving. They miss this person. Or they need information that's pretty important and only this person had it, and they never get it. And some people do realize right after the fact that, oh shit, I've been suckered, basically. But that's very rare. And when it does happen, it hits them like a ton of bricks, essentially. It's really depressing that, these assholes will play with them like that. And that's really what they're doing, is they're playing with their emotions. They're playing with their heads in a very strong sense of the word. And it just pisses me off. And even worse, people still buy into it. They will not allow cameras into those sessions because they know someone's going to bust them. That's the whole reason the cameras aren't allowed in there. Not because they, well, just not because, it'll disturb the vibes. It's because they know that somebody's going to be like, oh, here's what really happens, and show it. And even worse, it is really all just guesswork. That's all it is. They're guessing, and the people feed them the information without knowing it. That's the other thing. You don't know you're feeding them the information. They're wheedling it out of you very carefully, and it's very, very, very underhanded. So, you do need to be careful of that. But, again, people don't realize it, and they think, oh, I'm talking to my great-granny again, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you're not. It's really like, I hate to be a bubble burster, because some people will say, oh, it's a harmless thing, let them believe it, blah, blah. No, it's not harmless. That's the problem, is that it's not harmless. It is hurting these people. Usually financially, I should point out. Because, they're really buying into this very heavily, and they end up paying these assholes, like, tons of money. I mean, a lot of money. And, it's depressing. It's really kind of sad. And, these psychics get away with it because people honestly believe them. And I will bet you dollars to most these psychics don't believe it themselves. If you were to ask them, like, as a confidant, like, got in and somehow gained their trust, they wouldn't believe it themselves. They'd be like, these guys are total suckers. I just know they would, because they don't care. I see that smug look on John Edwards' face. He's a total jerk. He's just this smug asshole who knows he's playing with people's emotions, and he got world famous because of it. When I first heard of him, I had a feeling he was a fake, and now I know he's a fake. And if, it'd be cool to be able to talk to the dead. I wouldn't lie. I'd love to be able to talk to my mom again. But I'm not going to pay some asshole to do it for me. If I want to talk to my mom again, I'll just go crazy and pretend to hear the voices in my head like anyone else. It's cheaper, you get a roof over your head, and, you're not the one paying at that point, and it's funnier. Or something like that. I don't know. This kind of thing just pisses me off to no end, and really, if someone you know or someone you love is falling for this little claptrap, just try to stop them as best you can. Try to tell them that no. Not to mention, it doesn't help the person move on from what happened, from the death, because, they still think this person's around now, that they're still talking to them, essentially. And that's not the case. And that's kind of the scary thing, is that they're really being taken in. And, people are telling you, oh, don't try to ruin their delusion or whatever. And no. Try to help them as best you can, okay? And that's really all I gotta say about that. So hopefully this records after the third time. Otherwise, I'm going to record it a fourth time, and I'm going to be very annoyed. And wonder if John Edwards actually does have psychic powers, because I'm calling him out on this. Yeah. I'll talk to you later. Bye!